There are verses in the Qur'an that don't just speak to your ears, they awaken your destiny, and among them one stands apart. Surah Al-Waqi'a, the chapter of wealth, the chapter of rizq, the chapter that Ibn Arabi called the mirror of divine provision. He believed this surah is not merely about money or sustenance, it's about transformation. It changes the way your heart receives blessings. When you recite it, you're not just asking Allah for rizqo, you're aligning your soul with the flow of His abundance. Most people recite it, hoping for wealth to appear in their hands. But Ibn Arabi taught that true rizq begins inside you. The moment you shift your heart, the universe shifts around you. Tonight we're not just going to recite Surah Al-Waqi'a. We're going to understand it through the eyes of one of the greatest mystics in history. We'll uncover 7 powerful lessons that will change how you see wealth, hardship, and divine provision forever. Because when you truly grasp the secret of Al-Waqi'a, you'll stop chasing rizq, and rizq will start chasing you. This is not just a surah about wealth. It's a journey toward contentment, trust, and divine nearness. Let's begin. Ibn Arabi said, "Everything you seek already exists in your inner world." These are not just poetic words. They are a doorway to a deeper reality. In the eyes of Ibn Arabi, rizq sustenance is not something you chase in the markets, nor something you measure by coins or possessions. It is a divine flow, an energy that begins within the soul before it manifests in the world around you. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, the goal is not merely to attract material wealth, but to awaken the spiritual abundance already hidden inside your heart. Every verse is a vibration that calls forth your inner potential. It aligns your soul with the divine source of all provision, Ar-Razzaq, the one who provides without limit. Most people recite for the reward, but Ibn Arabi taught that the true miracle happens when the reciter becomes transformed. Think of your heart as a garden. If it is dry with greed, anxiety, or jealousy, no seed of rizq can grow there. But when your heart becomes fertile with gratitude, patience, and trust in Allah, even the smallest effort blooms into unimaginable blessings. The external world is simply a mirror reflecting your internal state. When the mirror of your heart is polished with faith, you begin to see provision not as something you must run after, but something that runs toward you. The modern world tells you, work harder, chase more, earn bigger. But Ibn Arabi whispers, go inward, polish your heart, and you will see that rizq was never missing, only your awareness of it was. Every blessing that reaches you is written by Allah, yet its doorway is opened through your inner alignment. The one who lives in constant worry about money has already cut himself off from divine flow. But the one who recites Al-Waqi'a with certainty that Allah provides, that one lives in endless abundance, even with little in hand. True rizq, Ibn Arabi says, is not gold or silver, it is contentment. When your soul is content, the smallest gift feels vast. But when your heart is restless, even mountains of wealth feel empty. The Quran reminds us, and He found you poor and made you self-sufficient. 93:8. Notice, Allah did not just send wealth, He changed the inner condition. He made you feel rich, become rich, even before the world caught up with that feeling. So when you sit at night and recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, close your eyes between verses. Feel the words not just on your tongue, but in your chest. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking? Is it coins in my palm or calm in my heart? Let the light of the surah descend into your being until you no longer beg from creation, but from the Creator. When you reach this state, your rizq flows naturally. Opportunities appear without effort. Doors open without knocking, and peace follows wherever you go. Because Allah doesn't change your condition by giving you more. He changes you so that whatever you have becomes enough. And when you truly feel enough, that is when Allah decides to give you more than enough. True wealth is not in the hand, it is in the heart that trusts completely. And once the heart is rich, no power in this world can make you poor again. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever recites Surah Al-Waqi'a every night will never be afflicted by poverty." But Ibn Arabi revealed that the real secret behind this promise is not just in the act of reciting, it lies in how you recite it. When most people read the Qur'an, their tongues move but their hearts remain still. They rush through verses, chasing completion instead of connection. But Ibn Arabi taught that the Qur'an is not meant to be read like a book. It is meant to be lived. Every word you recite carries divine energy, and that energy only awakens when the heart is fully present. To truly open the doors of rizq, you must transform your recitation from sound into surrender. Sit in silence before you begin. Let the noise of the world fade until you can hear your own heartbeat. Then start your recitation slowly, as if you are speaking directly to Allah, not reading about Him, but to Him. Feel every verse as a wave that cleanses your fears and reshapes your destiny. Ibn Arabi described the Qur'an as a mirror. When you recite with focus, that mirror reflects your unseen potential. But when you recite with distraction, the mirror fogs and no reflection appears. So when you open Surah Al-Waqi'a, imagine that each verse is polishing your heart. Every fasabif bisim rabbika al-azim, so glorify the name of your Lord. The Most Great removes dust from the mirror of your soul, revealing the light hidden within you. There are people who read this surah nightly, yet see no change, not because Allah's promise is untrue, but because they have not yet learned to recite with presence. Ibn Arabi said, "The Qur'an descends upon the heart, not upon the tongue." That means the power of Al-Waqia cannot be unlocked through sound alone. It requires a heart trembling in awe, a soul that listens more than it speaks. Try this tonight. Before reciting, close your eyes and whisper, "Ya Razak, O Provider, open for me the doors that my fear has kept closed." Then start reading, verse by verse. With every ayah, imagine light entering your chest, dissolving the blocks of doubt, envy, and anxiety that stop rizq from reaching you. When you finish, remain silent for a moment. Let the vibration of the verses settle into your being. You will feel a shift, calmness, gratitude, expansion. That is the sound of your spiritual doors unlocking. Ibn Arabi said that when one recites Al-Waqi'a with true presence, the unseen world responds. The angels record not just the words, but the state of your soul during recitation. If your state is peaceful, they write peace in your destiny. If your state is grateful, they write abundance. And if your state is love, they write nearness to Allah. Remember, your voice is not just air, it is energy. When it carries faith, it moves through the unseen like fragrance through wind. That is why some people's du'as are answered faster, because their hearts vibrate in harmony with divine truth. So, don't rush your recitation. Stretch every verse like silk. Let it wrap around your heart until you feel it beat with the rhythm of revelation. The Qur'an is alive, and it responds to how you approach it. If you come to it in haste, it hides. But if you come with humility, it unveils its treasures. Surah Al-Waqi'a is not merely a promise against poverty, it is a pathway to presence. When you recite it with full awareness, you awaken the rizq that was always waiting behind the door of your heart. And once that door opens, nothing in this world can close it again. Ibn Arabi taught that every word of the Qur'an is not merely a sound, it is a door to a hidden reality. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, you are not reading a story about the future. You are walking through layers of existence unfolding right now within you. The surah's name, Al-Waqi'a, the event, is not something waiting to happen at the end of time. It is happening inside you, every time you breathe, every time you remember Allah. In Ibn Arabi's view, the Qur'an is a living ocean. Each verse is a wave rising from the unseen and crashing into the shore of your heart. But only those who are spiritually awake can feel its movement. When the heedless recite, they hear words, but when the aware recite, they enter realities. Ibn Arabi said, "The Qur'an is a ladder. Each verse lifts you to a new world if you climb it with presence." Surah Al-Waqi'a speaks of three groups: the foremost, the people of the right, and the people of the left. These are not just categories of souls on the day of judgment. They represent the states within your own being. The people of the right are your acts of goodness, the light within you that obeys and trusts. The people of the left are your lower desires, your ego, your heedlessness, and the foremost. They are your highest potential, the part of you that has already seen the divine and yearns to return. When you recite this surah, you are not simply describing what will happen, you are awakening these inner states. Each verse becomes a mirror reflecting the condition of your soul. Some verses shake you, others soothe you. This is not coincidence. It is the Qur'an responding to who you are. Ibn Arabi said that every heart receives a unique reflection from each verse. No two recitations are ever the same. When Allah says, "Indeed, it is a noble Qur'an, in a well-guarded book. None touch it except the purified," Ibn Arabi explains that this touch is not physical. The purified heart, free from arrogance, greed, and doubt, touches the inner meaning. To reach that state, your heart must become like still water. If the surface is restless, the reflection cannot appear. But when your inner world becomes quiet, the light of the Qur'an reveals itself, and every word turns into a doorway to understanding. Try to imagine the energy that flows through you as you recite. Each Arabic letter vibrates with divine frequency. The Wa opens flow, the Kaf seals strength, the Ain carries depth. All of them combined create a symphony that reshapes your energy field. Ibn Arabi believed that every verse from the Qur'an leaves a trace in the reciter's spiritual body. Over time, this trace becomes light that protects, attracts, and transforms. So when you open Surah Al-Waqi'a, realize that you are not just reading, you are being rewritten. The energy of the surah moves through you, removing what blocks your rizq and awakening what was asleep. For some, the door it opens may be financial. For others, emotional or spiritual. Rizq is not limited to wealth. It can be health, peace, purpose, or love. The Quran gives each person the form of rizq they are most in need of. Ibn Arabi said that the Quran is both book and being. Its words live within you, waiting to be activated. That is why recitation feels different on different nights. Sometimes it brings tears, sometimes calm, sometimes silence. The Quran speaks differently to each heart because it speaks from beyond time. The more you polish your heart, the clearer its voice becomes. He also warned that if a person recites mechanically, the words may pass through their tongue but never enter their heart, and thus the door of rizq remains closed. But when you approach every verse as if it holds a secret meant only for you, the doors begin to open. The surah itself becomes alive. It begins to teach you, guide you, and even test you. One of Ibn Arabi's students once asked, "How do I know the door of a verse has opened for me?" He replied, "When its meaning stops being information and becomes transformation." In other words, when the verse changes how you live, how you feel, how you see the world, that is when you have touched it. Take a moment to reflect on this. The same Quran that shook mountains is speaking through your voice. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a with awareness, you are aligning yourself with the same divine frequencies that sustain the universe. Each verse becomes a gate of light, and through it Allah invites you closer to Himself. So tonight, when you open Surah Al-Waqi'a, slow down. Let your eyes rest on each word. Whisper it with love, as if it holds your entire destiny, because it might. With every verse, imagine a door opening before you. Step through that door with your heart, not your mind. The poor within you will be nourished. The forgotten will be remembered. The lost parts of your soul will find their way home. For Surah Al-Waqi'a is not a promise of future events. It is the event happening now, the moment your soul meets its source. And once you experience that, you will understand Ibn Arabi's secret, that every word of the Qur'an carries a universe within it, and when you truly recite, the universe begins to open. Ibn Arabi once said, "The wealth that blinds your heart is poverty in disguise." These words cut deep because they remind us of a truth many ignore. You can fill your hands with gold and still feel empty inside. You can chase success, status, and luxury, yet lie awake at night in quiet hunger, not for food, but for meaning. Surah Al-Waqi'a teaches that true rest is not measured by what you possess, but by what possesses your heart. The modern world tells you that wealth is freedom, but Ibn Arabi reminds you, wealth without inner peace becomes a prison. You might own the keys to everything, but if anxiety, fear, or greed control you, then your soul remains chained. The rich man who fears losing his money is poorer than the one who trusts Allah even when his pockets are empty. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, understand that Allah is not only calling you to abundance, He is calling you to balance. The surah separates the people of the right from those of the left, the ones who give thanks from the ones who forget. This distinction is not about money, but attitude. A grateful heart can turn little into plenty, while an ungrateful one turns plenty into nothing. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah's rizq flows continuously, like light from the sun, but it only reflects where the heart is clear. The heart clouded by greed blocks its own light. Wealth, when purified, becomes a tool of worship. It can build homes, feed the hungry, and bring comfort to others. But when it becomes an idol, it consumes the soul. That is why Ibn Arabi taught his students to recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, not to gain wealth for selfish pleasure, but to purify their relationship with it. He said, "If Allah places wealth in your hand, keep it there. Do not let it settle in your heart. The difference is subtle but sacred. Wealth in the hand serves you. Wealth in the heart enslaves you." Look around and you'll see many people who have everything the eye desires: cars, fame, followers, yet their hearts tremble. They live in fear of losing what they've built. That fear is the silent thief of barakah. But those who live simply, with gratitude and trust, walk in freedom even when they own little. That is the miracle of Surah Al-Waqi'a. It teaches you that peace itself is rizq, perhaps the greatest form of it. Ibn Arabi described this peace as a divine fragrance that only settles in hearts that trust their provider. You cannot buy it. You cannot chase it. You can only receive it through surrender. When you recite this surah sincerely, Allah begins to remove your inner restlessness. You stop comparing. You stop fearing the future. You stop begging from people and start relying on the source. Suddenly, even a small meal tastes like a feast, and even a small home feels like a palace. The secret lies in one shift. Stop asking Allah to change your wealth. Ask Him to change your heart toward it. Once your heart is at peace, wealth naturally comes. The Qur'an promises, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you." Notice, increase follows gratitude, not greed. So when you hold your Qur'an and whisper the verses of Surah Al-Waqi'a, don't just think of wealth, think of peace. Imagine your heart emptying itself of fear, attachment, and pride. Let the words wash away every anxiety about provision. Remind yourself, Allah has already written my rizq. I only need to align with it. Because in truth, wealth without peace is nothing more than poverty wrapped in gold. But peace, even in poverty, is the highest form of divine richness. When your heart rests in Allah, you carry a treasure no thief can steal. Ibn Arabi believed that the night is not a time of absence, it is a time of arrival. When the world sleeps, when the markets fall silent, and the noise of desire fades, something sacred awakens. The unseen world opens its gates, and divine energy begins to flow toward the hearts that remember Allah in solitude. This is why Ibn Arabi would recite Surah Al-Waqi'a after Isha, not merely as a ritual, but as a meeting with the unseen. He called it the hour of descent, when risk, both spiritual and material, begins to pour from the heavens. Think about it. During the day, your senses are busy. The phone rings, the mind races, the dunya distracts. But at night, when you are alone with your breath and your Lord, the heart finally becomes still enough to hear. The Qur'an describes this beautifully. Indeed, the rising by night is very effective and most suitable for words. 73:6. In that quiet, every verse becomes louder, every dua becomes sharper, and every tear becomes a key, unlocking unseen doors. Ibn Arabi wrote that when you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a at night, your soul begins to taste risk before it appears in form. This is why people of spiritual insight feel their du'as answered before the outcome arrives, because their hearts have already received what their eyes have not yet seen. The night is not about waiting for blessings to fall, it is about preparing your inner vessel to receive them. He also taught that the barakah of rizq descends in the stillness of the last third of the night. When others sleep, the sincere ones rise, not because they want wealth, but because they want nearness. And that nearness brings everything else. If you wake for even a few moments before Fajr, sit in silence and recite Surah Al-Waqi'a slowly. The angels themselves record your recitation with light. They surround you, and your home becomes filled with tranquility. Ibn Arabi said that in those moments, even the walls around you remember Allah. When you recite at night, imagine that every word is a lamp being lit inside your chest. Verse after verse, your heart becomes a constellation, glowing in the unseen. You may not see money appear in your hand, but you'll feel the world begin to shift around you. Sudden opportunities, calm in hardship, clarity in confusion. That is rizq arriving in its purest form. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah designed the night as a mirror for the soul. In the dark, everything external disappears. Your possessions, your image, your status, and what remains is only you and Allah. This stripping away is not emptiness, it is purification. When your soul stands naked before the divine, your intentions become clearer, your du'as become more sincere, and your rizq becomes more direct. Try this spiritual practice before sleeping. Make wudu, sit quietly, and open Surah Al-Waqi'a. Begin with Bismillah and take a deep breath. Let your mind drop its burdens. Recite with full awareness that each verse is not just heard, it is recorded into your destiny. When you finish, close your eyes and say softly, Ya Razak, I trust you completely. Write for me what brings me closer to you, then sleep with that peace. You will begin to notice how your mornings change. The anxiety that once woke you is replaced by calm. The doors that were closed yesterday seem to open without effort. The Qur'an's light doesn't end at night. It follows you into the day, Ibn Arabi said. The one who fills his night with remembrance will find his day filled with provision. The night is not the end of your risk. It is the beginning of it. In the silence where no one sees you, Allah witnesses your devotion and commands blessings to descend upon you. So when the world sleeps, rise. Recite Surah Al-Waqi'a with humility, with trust, with love. For in those sacred hours, risk is not just written, it is revealed. Ibn Arabi taught that gratitude is not just words on the tongue. It is a state of the soul that multiplies everything it touches. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, you are not simply asking Allah to give you more. You are acknowledging that you already have more than enough. True abundance doesn't begin when wealth enters your hands. It begins when shukr enters your heart. Allah says in the Qur'an, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you." 14:7. Ibn Arabi explained that this increase is not limited to money or material possessions. It is an expansion of perception, the ability to see blessings where others see lack. A grateful person doesn't live in scarcity because their heart has learned to recognize divine generosity in every moment. He often said, "The miser counts coins, but the grateful counts mercies." When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a with gratitude, every verse becomes a reminder that your rizq has already been written, measured, and protected by Allah long before you were born. There is no need for fear, only for trust. Gratitude transforms the heart from a vessel of complaint into a magnet for divine favor. Imagine this: two people recite the same surah. One recites with worry, thinking, "I need more." The other recites with contentment, whispering, "Alhamdulillah for what I have." The second person experiences a deeper opening, a tranquility that draws unseen provision. Ibn Arabi would say, "The tongue that thanks becomes a key that opens the door of rizq." In his writings, Ibn Arabi described gratitude as a spiritual mirror. Whatever you focus on in appreciation grows brighter in your life. When you thank Allah for small blessings, a meal, a peaceful night, a kind word, your awareness of His generosity increases, and so does your rizq. The ungrateful person may live among wealth, but feel poor. The grateful one may own little yet walk as if wrapped in endless abundance. Ibn Arabi also revealed that gratitude purifies rizq. When you thank Allah for what you receive, the blessing carries barakah, a multiplying effect that makes less feel like more. You'll notice your money stretches further, your time feels richer, and your heart becomes lighter. Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances first. It changes you, and then the world responds. He taught a simple but powerful practice. After reciting Surah Al-Waqi'a, place your hand on your heart and say, "Alhamdulillah," for what has come, what is present, and what is on its way. This anchors your soul in divine trust. You're not chasing rizq, you're aligning yourself with it. You're stepping into the rhythm Allah already set for your life. Even in times of hardship, Ibn Arabi encouraged his students to find something to thank Allah for: the breath they still had, the patience they were granted, the lessons within the pain. He said, "Shukr in difficulty is the highest form of wealth." When you can be grateful in both giving and taking, in both abundance and loss, you become free from dependency on the world. That is the moment when rizq flows without limits. So tonight, when you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, let every Alhamdulillah rise from a heart that truly sees. Thank Allah for what is, not just for what you want, because the more you thank, the more He unveils. Gratitude is not the end of your rizq, it is the door through which it enters. Ibn Arabi said, "When the servant truly trusts, the rizq begins to run toward him faster than he runs toward it." This is the secret most people miss. Your provision is not something you chase. It is something that chases you when your heart rests in full trust of Allah. When you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, it is not just about asking for wealth or comfort. It's a declaration of trust. Every verse is a reminder that Allah alone holds your sustenance. He is our Razak, the provider who never forgets a single soul He created. The moment you stop fearing loss and start trusting His promise, the unseen begins to move in your favor. Ibn Arabi taught that true tawakkul, trust in Allah, is not laziness or surrender without effort. It's action rooted in certainty. You work, you plan, you strive, but your heart stays anchored in the belief that the result is written by Allah's hand, not yours. You don't panic when doors close because you know the one who opens doors no eye can see. You don't chase people or opportunities because you know your rizq is not in their control. He said, "The one who depends on creation is like a bird trapped in a cage. The one who depends on the Creator is like a bird flying under the open sky." When you live in tawakkul, even what seems delayed is actually being perfectly arranged. Sometimes Allah withholds not to punish you, but to protect you, to delay a blessing until you are spiritually ready to hold it. Every time you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, you are training your soul to release fear and hold faith. The verses about the people of the right hand remind you that honor and ease belong to those who trust Allah in every state, in richness and in need, in health and in pain. Tawakkul transforms anxiety into peace because you no longer carry the burden of control. You realize Allah was always carrying you. Ibn Arabi would tell his students, when you truly rely on Allah, your rizq becomes loyal to you. He believed that provision has consciousness. It recognizes the heart that trusts its Creator. The one who doubts must chase, but the one who trusts is pursued. That is why saints and mystics, though often living with little, never lacked what they needed. Their secret was not in what they owned, it was in whom they relied upon. Try this. After finishing your recitation of Surah Al-Waqi'a, close your eyes and whisper, "Hasbi Allah. Allah is enough for me." Let those words sink deep into your heart. Feel the release, the letting go of anxiety, the surrender of control. That's the moment tawakkul awakens. That's the moment the flow of rizq begins to align with your faith. When you trust Allah completely, you will start to notice subtle miracles. Doors open without reason. Help arrives before you ask. Needs are met through ways you could never have planned. That's not coincidence. That's the movement of divine provision responding to a trusting heart. Ibn Arabi said, "The one who walks with trust walks on a path that never ends. So let your trust be full, your heart be calm, and your tongue be steady with remembrance." Recite Surah Al-Waqi'a not as someone begging for sustenance, but as someone certain of Allah's generosity. Because when tawakkul lives in your heart, rizq becomes your shadow. Wherever you go, it follows. So now you understand. Surah Al-Waqi'a isn't just about attracting wealth. It's about awakening the soul that wealth can trust. Ibn Arabi taught that when your heart becomes rich with faith, your hands will never stay empty. Because rizq isn't something you chase, it's something that recognizes a heart that trusts Allah completely. Every time you recite Surah Al-Waqi'a, you're not just reading verses, you're rewriting your reality. You're planting seeds of barakah, opening doors you can't yet see, and calling blessings from the unseen world into your life. So tonight, don't just repeat words, feel them. Let every verse wash away your fear of loss. Let every Alhamdulillah remind you that you already have more than enough. And let your trust in Allah be so strong that even in silence, your heart whispers, "My rizq is written, my Lord is generous, and my soul is content." Remember this: wealth may come and go, but peace stays where faith lives. Recite Al-Waqi'a not to gain more, but to become more trusting, more grateful, more aware of the one who provides without measure. May your nights be filled with remembrance, your heart with light, and your rizq with endless barakah, because when you walk with Allah, everything you seek begins to walk toward you.